So I will say my borrowing level, it's kind of petty because if you were to gauge borrowing, mine will be petty because mine is just copper credo, copper internet, such stuff. I guess that's the greatest extent I've gone with borrowing.
Every year, the world marks Debt Awareness Week from 24th March to 30th March. This year, the theme revolves around helping people start conversation about their debt worries with their partners, friends, and family. We'll also shine light on debt stigma and ways to overcome it. Talking about debt can feel difficult, but opening up is the first step towards finding support.
I guess I'm not very opposed to debt. In my day-to-day life, it's very usual for me to end up in like Fuliza or something like that. Those overdraft facilities. I'm not exactly opposed, but it's just something I am cautious with.
So for me, yeah, there are those many instances that I found myself in a situation I am obliged to borrow. So I would say in my case, borrowing is, okay, being in debt or borrowing or taking a loan, it's well if it's well managed. For me, my mantra is you only borrow if you need to invest. You don't borrow if you want to borrow and just spend.
My experience with borrowing has mostly been non-existent because I try my best to avoid borrowing money. Because from my experience, my brother, for example, he tends to spend a lot of money, so he'd end up borrowing like from loan sharks and all those companies. So I'd see that when I was growing up, and I decided I just wouldn't borrow money. So when I got into adulthood and I started getting money, I'd like keep it and save it. And if there's any instance where I'd not have anything, I'd rather just be broke than borrowing because I'm scared of having debts and not being able to repay them. So I just completely avoid.
For the longest time, I didn't like borrowing money. I think even from when I was a child, maybe I always used to ask for money from my parents only, not from friends. Maybe my parents and my aunties and uncles. But as an adult, I think I've never really liked the aspect of borrowing money. I feel like it's a very personal and touchy topic for me.
I sometimes take on debt to build credit. Not that I need it, because mostly not institutional debt, more of like M-Shwari, but I limit it to only M-Shwari. I don't like having debt with other institutions. So again, I don't also want it to go above 5,000.
I'd say first, when you are borrowing, I'd say at least sit down and make sure that you're able to repay. Because these days, especially even just borrowing from friends, family, these days a lot of family and friends are coming out to say that so-and-so hasn't paid or so-and-so, So I think I'd advise anyone who's looking to borrow, whether it's from a friend, whether it's even from the loan apps or anything, just make sure that it's an amount that you are able to pay back.
Borrow to build yourself.
Okay, I've been told this numerous times, never borrow for something you don't plan on investing in. So if you're borrowing to buy clothes, it's not going to return money. You're just going to wear the clothes and they'll only lose value with time. So you should always invest in something that's going to give you value.
Read through your loan agreements and consider it if they have a clause where they do allow renegotiation of your loan period or your payment period, because sometimes you have the confidence of paying the loan and then something happens, an emergency comes up, so you can't. So I'd say, are they flexible in terms of payment periods, interest rate especially, because there are institutions where it's not on interest rate, is not when you're paying, it's not reducing amount, it's you pay the interest and also you pay the principal.